What's going on, everyone? This is Sky here, aka Trylon. I'm here with my right-hand man, RJ. And today's topic for our new series, which is called Trylon Chatter, we're going to be covering our thoughts, our views, our opinions when it comes to Warp Drive. So today we actually built and used Warp Drive for the first time. It was a pretty cool experience. And I have a few things that I want to talk about, and I'll kind of caveat off of RJ. I'll let RJ take the floor first and see where we go from there. So RJ, I'm gonna throw it over to you, dude. What are your thoughts on the warp drive? What did you like? What didn't you like? What kind of changes you might want to see? Let's hear what you have to say about it, man.
Overall, I am very impressed. It definitely cuts down on the time it takes to travel between planets. So I am very happy with that. It's not overly expensive to fly. Between Mattis and Aliath, with a 150-ton ship, it cost us 6 warp cells, which was about 120,000 quanta on the market. So not terribly expensive. One thing I don't like about it is, so I guess what I want to say is that um, the one reason we didn't push harder to get warp technology in the beginning is I thought we needed to have a space core set up with a warp point on it in order to actually use the warp drive. I didn't know you could warp directly between planets. So that was one reason we didn't go with it right away. But something I don't like about it is that you can warp to any planet without traveling to it first. Um, and I think that's one thing that I'm used to in the game is spending a lot of time in space travel. So I think my opinion is I'd like to have to travel to a planet before you could warp to.
So I disagree with that, and here's why. So like we're in the future, right? We got nanopacks, all kinds of materials can go to the nanopack. We got all these crazy industries. We have warp drive. We have all this. So I feel like we have like even now we can measure distances of the planets that we have in our own solar system currently. You know, like we know where things are located currently. So to me, that's not unreasonable. Like we're literally mathing that stuff out now with satellites and doing, gravity assist, with satellites. So to me, like that's not unreasonable. I do think, if I understand this correctly, they make those gates. We have to craft those gates to travel to the other system. That thing might be a little weird. I'm not sure how that's gonna work. And I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, and we'll have another Trylon Chatter episode in reference to that. But so some of the I love the audio cues. I love the female voice. I love what she says. I like that as a passenger, the developers did a good job with like, stand by, you're secured for warp or something like that, and then like you are now free, to leave your chairs, something like that, to where it literally it's more immersive. So I'm really happy with those cues. The one thing that I'd like to see added, or a change, I guess you could say, is a better visual representation of what's happening while you're warping. So like it appears like the stars that are normally moving when you're traveling are just moving faster. And that's pretty much it. Did you see any other, RJ? Did you see any other
I
graphical?
didn't see anything else. I'd like to almost see the ship itself get distorted a bit, or other stuff get distorted more. But yeah, the only thing I saw was the stars moving faster.
Now, that being said, I'm not a developer, and it's easy for me to be like, oh, do this, do that. You should do this. Like, that sounds like it might be really difficult. It could be really straining on, I don't know if it would make sense to make it client side, but maybe it's a server side thing. I don't know the specifics, but if you could just make it more visually effective, even though it's brief, especially from Alioth to Mattis, even though it's like, well, what is it, like 10 seconds or something
Yeah,
crazy? It's
yeah.
so nice.
We didn't even time it out. We should have.
Yeah, it was literally
It's
like,
just intense.
yeah, it was so cool. So I'm super glad they put that in the game, and we haven't done like a long distance warp. Like we haven't gone to Feely or Yago,
Ion.
Ion. Yeah, Ion. What is that, like 600, 800
I think
SU
that's,
out?
yeah.
So like we haven't done any of those yet. So I'm sure it'll be a little bit longer. But warp drive in general was a great implementation, great mechanic. Oh, the aesthetics of it itself. So purple, I wasn't ready for purple. I didn't expect. For some reason, I was thinking, I don't know, red or blue or something. But purple works. Like it's a unique color. I haven't really seen it on any other elements that I can
You know,
recall.
purple's right there between red and blue, though. So you know, you
That's
got
true.
the best of both
That's
worlds.
true. So, I mean, good point. So in general, like, really, really satisfied and happy with it. The only other thing too, also that I'm not sure how it works, is with PvP. I don't know if you, so if you go from one planet to another planet, and that second planet, right, planet B, is outside the PvP zone, does it kind of spit you out in the same area? Excuse me, because I feel like people can anticipate that, and maybe take advantage of it and just blow you up, as soon as you get there, or make some kind of blockade thing, which is kind of cool if you for the game aspect. But if a massive org just locks it down immediately, like it's gonna take a lot of either muscle work, or you're gonna have to coordinate and do old school travel, and I don't know how much fun that would be. That would
So
be challenging,
the way it seems like to me is you could actually come in on the planet at a different angle. So maybe if you're worried about getting caught, maybe you go 15 solar units out from the planet you're coming from and then warp to the planet, because you'll actually end up, slightly above and at an angle to the
Yeah.
planet.
Okay, so Huggy's in chat. He says yes. There's already a unfortunate meta where they're building quote warp nets. That's ships crash into coming out of warp. So that's a problem. And I think JC addressed that in that interview that he had done fairly recently with Geo. And he said it shouldn't be possible technically, but it's some kind of bug or issue. I do agree with you, RJ. But I feel like it should be a little bit more manageable by the pilot or whoever's controlling, the ship or the warp stuff. Maybe you can kind of, like, after you select the warp location, maybe it gives you some detailed locations that you can select near there, like near the planet, so that you don't know exactly where, or you can pick up to 5 solar units out. 5 to 2, I guess, is the buffer zone or something like that. So all warps come
Right.
out at the same spot. They do not. From what we understand, they don't. But there is like, I don't know is the real answer for me.
I think it ends at like 0.75 solar units out. I mean, that's what it did for Mattis when we came back onto Mattis.
So
Um,
I
but I
think,
think different areas of space that you end up.
yeah. So it's like the same. It's the same radius. Like that 0.75 solar units is where you come out of warp. So if you make like a large enough spaced out force kind of around the planet at about 0.70 solar units, and your radars are up, people warp in, dude. You just knock them out. I think that's how it works, Draco. I'm not sure. Cool name, by the way, Draco Omega. Thanks for stopping in. But yeah, I mean, overall, super happy with it. I hope they fix that issue, or there's a workaround so that you don't just immediately get obliterated when you end your warp. I would like to see a little bit more graphical stuff, a little bit more visceral or tactile, if you will, stuff when you're going into the warp and in the warp. Exiting the warp, it's not quite as important, but I think the build up to it and when you're going through it, some more tunnely, spacey vibes going on, that would be really cool. But the mechanics are there. I'm impressed nonetheless. The Nova Corps team did a great job with it. I'm super happy with it. I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with the gates when we travel these other systems, and how it's going to kind of grow. RJ, do you have any other comments or anything you'd like to add in reference to Warp?
I don't think so. No.
Do you remember the part itself? How much it cost on the market, kind of averagey, or how difficult it was to make the part? Did you look at that at all?
So, DPABs actually purchased a part for it, and I believe it was 5 million quanta. So
Okay.
actually, that wasn't terrible either. And the part itself to make it is, I mean, it takes a few days, so just
Okay.
about a amount of an anti-grav, a little bit more.
Okay. So, I mean, 5 million, I guess it's all based on perspective there. That could be a lot for some people. and it could be nothing for others. I feel like if you have a good crew that plays a lot, maybe 4 or 5 people that are really playing consistently 2 to 5 hours every day or whatever, and some extra time on the weekends, no problem at all. What's up, Huggies? Oh, okay, you're talking to the other guy. Okay, yeah, that's pretty much it. Does anyone in chat have any other questions, comments, anything they'd like to bring up in reference to Warp? Because if not, then we're about to wrap it up. Let's see, what did Ebentane say here? Oh, I just had a bump idea for a Magro launch system of the fighters. Can't wait to move this and start testing. Okay, cool. Lines between planets. Okay, thanks, Gould. Direct lines between planets. That makes sense. Yeah, I just don't want it to be too exploitable when people show up at their location and just get blown up, you know? But yeah, that's pretty much going to cover it. I appreciate it, guys. I stream almost every day. I tend to stay away from the weekends. They're a little bit slower. People are playing. People are home. People are doing whatever they're doing, sleeping in, stuff like that. When I do stream, it's usually pretty late. This is my new series. This will be the second episode. We went over Warp. And our views on it. If you guys have anything that you want to hear us talk about, please let us know. Reach out in the comments below, or you can come to my stream and let me know live. I run reruns often, so just pay attention. Make sure I'm not running a rerun when you reach out to me in the chat. You can also join my Discord and let me know there in a PM or in the lobby. You can at me, just at Sky, and that's pretty much it. So RJ, go ahead and say goodbye to everybody.
Bye. Thanks
All right.
for tuning in.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys, and I'll see y'all later. Take care.